Welcome back to Tip of the Spear, where we talk about all things Wetumpka athletics. As always, I'm your host, Chandler Ward, and with me today are my co-hosts, Deacon, Meeks, and Noah Britt. To start things off, I'd like to congratulate 3 band members, which would be Michael Stanfield, Jonathan Elmore, and Winston McBride. They have been invited to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is super exciting, and I just can't wait to see how they perform on Thanksgiving. Now, someone else I'd like to congratulate would be sophomore running back Jordan Hill. He won himself First Community Bank's Player of the Week for his outstanding performance against Saraland with 5 carries for 10 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 38-yard touchdown pass to John Hudson-Wingard. Now, a running back making passes is just something you don't see every day.
No, you don't.
Yeah, not at all.
Off of other championship performances, Cheer finished 10th in their state championship competition, leaving a good mark on this year's cheer team for Wetumpka. Now, Cheer may have been the state, but dance is coming up on their first competition on January 24th, and we have nationals for dance team following that week.
With a very strong ending to our cheer team's competition season, our basketball team, our freshman team, has actually started up, and they actually played against Stanhope's JV team, and Wetumpka's JV, varsity girls and varsity boys, will be playing Thursday against Pike Road. And man, oh man, I cannot wait to see what the coaches have in store.
Absolutely, Deacon. Now, although basketball season is starting up, I'd like to take a little recap, a ride down memory lane, if you would, into Wetumpka's varsity football team this year. Now, they ended 6-5, losing to Saraland in the first round of the playoffs. So, once again, first round exit. I think it's been 4 years in a row, which that's okay. It's a little upsetting because you really want to see this Wetumpka team prevail, but you know, they played their hearts out. They lost 49-24, and you may think that's not the best game, but against Saraland, I'd call that a win.
I agree, man.
Started off 10-0 and didn't score again till the fourth quarter, but put 14 up, and that's proven to us that this Wetumpka team is going to play till the very end.
Yeah, no doubt. And honestly, just like Wetumpka's team has to be just like the perseverance that they have. I mean, they're going against one of the top teams in the nation. You know, Saraland. They had Ryan Williams at receiver. He's a star for Alabama. He's an absolute stud. And going against a team like that, I mean, that's just tough competition.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad to see, like, you know, Wetumpka tried and they fought, and they fought well.
Yeah, this year's Wetumpka football team, they've had a lot of ups and downs recently. There was, in the middle of the season, a very good stretch of wins, I think a 4-game winning streak. And you look at that and we're thinking, oh, this is a really good team stretching out. It was just some minor problems in those games following that 4-game win streak that kind of like killed the momentum, I would say. But we have a lot of young players and really good young players, especially on offense, and they will definitely develop going into the offseason as they prepare for next season, because I know they don't want to be first-round exits every single year.
No,
Yeah, I agree.
I strongly believe that Wetumpka's team next year, they're going to have something to give, you know. Their O-line for this year, they were a little choppy, you know.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about that in the past couple of episodes, but I just really want to look into that, you know. The offensive line has kind of just held the defense not as well. Charlie hasn't had enough time, and it kind of just comes to show, you know.
Yeah.
Charlie, he gets put in these predicaments where he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who to pass it to. He doesn't have the time, and it's either you take a sack, which risks injuring, or you've got to throw it. And as we saw, that caused a lot of interceptions this season.
Yes, it just turns into turnovers. And also, on the other side of the ball, defensive efficiency. You know, we can't seem to just stop the run defense. And it's been a constant problem for Wetumpka following through the season. And whenever we were facing Stanhope, man, we thought their running back was good.
Yeah.
But Saraland, they were running the ball like crazy, man. And it was just like, it was a tough performance for Wetumpka. So hopefully during the offseason, like you were saying, we have sophomore players, a lot of sophomores. So hopefully we can build them up and just be a stronger team overall.
Absolutely.
Our execution on offense, especially I'm going to go back to what Chandler said about the O-line. This aligns with it. If the O-line does not do its job with the blocking, especially on the edge, I feel like what I saw, the edge rushers for Saraland and other teams this season have been really good about getting around the offensive lineman and getting to Charlie Skipper. And Charlie Skipper is a good quarterback, but he can't produce or do anything if the O-line cannot do the job.
I agree.
Absolutely. Now, although we're talking about the cons of the Wetumpka football team, I'd like to take a step into the pros. Now, we may have lacked a little bit on that O-line and that D-line, but special teams is something I'd love to point out. For starters, Cyrus Bullock, kicker, his longest field goal, correct me if I'm wrong, but 44-yard field goal against Saraland, and that's pretty good for a high school kicker, you know, coming up on Logan Wayhall's 49, I think it would be it. So he's getting there pretty close, and I think he's going to have it by next year.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, that thing was good from 50, if you ask me. That was a strong kick from Cyrus, so props to him, honestly. And, you know, Wetumpka's offense, in that first quarter, we were up 10-0. I mean, I was like in full belief. We're going to pull away. We're going to win this thing. But it just comes back to execution. You know, we couldn't run the ball, stop the clock, or not stop the clock, but just keep the clock chewing, keep it going. So, but yeah, our offense in the first quarter and in the last quarter, it just can't seem to like stay a steady momentum.
Those slight sparks is just, it
builds
gives
hope.
you, it builds hope. It gives you that like willpower to just be like, Wetumpka's got this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a little upsetting, but you can't just give it full blame, you know? You can't give them that blame because not every team has the greatest game ever.
Yeah.
And you're going to get tired, man. Like, I know earlier games when the offense was lacking a little bit and the defense had to pick up their slack, I know the defense was exhausted, and we could say the same for the Saraland game. I think both sides of the ball were just heavily exhausted.
I agree.
This,
And
this Saraland offense, when they saw that 10-0 score, they was like, we have to do something about this.
Yeah.
And their quarterback showed it. I mean, the deep balls that he throws, I mean, I think our defense, when you talk about defensive efficiency, our defensive backfield in the Saraland game, I feel like it kind of fell apart as the game went on.
I agree.
And we have a great backfield. I think it was the game prior to Saraland. We have like 3 picks.
Yes.
So you look at that
Pick
and
six.
you're saying, how can we fall apart after having a good defensive backfield game in the last game?
Well, to backtrack what I just said, Noah, it's kind of like I said, you can't have like crazy good games over and over. Now, I know you want that, and like for college NFL, you want that. You like expect your team to put out that crazy amount of effort, but it's just it's not a perfect story, you know. It never ends like that.
Yeah, what I want is just better defensive efficiency. And
Absolutely.
I think we have a great backfield. We just need to work on the efficiency every single game.
Yeah, like our gas tanks on offense as well, O-line, that's the main thing about the edge rushers. As it progresses, as the game progresses, Charlie gets more heavily pressured because they keep getting around and they don't have the stamina to keep up with those very strong, fast Saraland defenders. Because
You start running low on fuel when
yeah,
you get
man.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the main point of it, main gist.
Now, I know we're talking about a lot of the cons for this Wetumpka team, but I'm very proud of all these boys. They played their hearts out the entire season, and I just know next season they're going to bounce back from that, and they're going to give us some more.
Yeah, dude, with a young team, they're going to be hungry.
Absolutely. It's like a team full of sophomores, so they've definitely got it next year. Now, apart from football, I want to jump back to basketball. I'm very excited. Now, you may not know, but basketball is my favorite sport, so I cannot wait to be at these games, cheering these boys on, and kind of just seeing what they've got in store. Now, last year, absolutely outstanding year. They made it all the way to the Sweet 16 for state, led by Andrew Voiles, Nolan Fitch. All these players, they really just had that key impact on this team. And we've lost Nolan Fitch, but we've still got Andrew Voiles, and I'd give him probably best player out there, you know. He's going to lead that Wetumpka team to another maybe state championship. Now, that's something we got to keep an eye on. We've got to look at him, make sure he's doing what we think he should.
Yeah, man. And with new additions, I am so adamant on Caleb Ballard. I mean, he's a 6'5" player, probably going to be put at the power forward. And, it just puts competition between him and Tamorian Sudeth. So I just can't wait to see what he has to prove, because I haven't seen him play any basketball. But from what I've heard from you, he's pretty dang good. So.
And from how he performed in football. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, he will use his height to his advantage. Now, I want to talk about someone who we have seen play for Wetumpka basketball. Like you said, he was one of the key leaders for last year's team when they went to the Sweet 16 in the state championship tournament. We have Andrew Voiles, point guard. He will be the key player for this basketball team, most definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, he showed it last year. He's bound to show it this year. Now, I would like to point out Miller Lombardi. Miller Lombardi, he started on varsity as a sophomore last year. So that's a little, that's kind of crazy, You don't see that very often. Normally you stick to the upperclassmen as varsity. But Miller showed off great talent for the games he played in last year, and I think he's going to continue to do that this year.
Yeah, man, he was looking like Steve Nash out there slinging the rock, and I can't wait to see him as a junior developed. And honestly, I think he will also lead Wetumpka to a win against Pike Road, 60-55. I think it's going to be a little close one. We're going to have to work out some rinks and dinks. So it's going to be a tough game for Wetumpka starting off. And also against PCA on Friday, I think Wetumpka is going to win that 65-50.
Yeah, I believe this Wetumpka boys basketball team is going to be very good this year. And tomorrow on the road against Pike Road, I have Wetumpka winning 67-59. And on Friday against PCA at home, I have Wetumpka winning this 61-54.
All right, so
now, as you said, Wetumpka is starting it off on the road. So, that's a little scary. You don't have those, you ain't got the fans there. You don't have any of that. So it's going to be a little competitive there. But I think Wetumpka is going to start it off strong with a 72-65 win. And then following up, I think Wetumpka is going to beat PCA 53-52. I'm calling a game-winning shot here.
Close one, man.
Could be by Andrew, could be by Miller, it could be by anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like last year in the playoffs when Nolan Fitch hit that one from the corner. I was there,
Absolutely.
man. That was lit.
So you always want that last game-winning shot, just a fantasy right there. But I think that might just happen in this game coming up. So I'm super excited for this basketball season. I just absolutely love the game, and I know y'all two do as well. So football season may have ended, but basketball is coming up, and so are a bunch of other sports. So make sure you stick along for the ride. We're going to be talking about every single sport, so make sure football wasn't only what you were here for. But I thank you all for watching this episode of Tip of the Spear, and as always, win the moment, Wetumpka.